I've heard the statement from Honorable from Kisi.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable members. Honorable members, on last Tuesday, I gave you a communication following complaints by several members, and I indicated that Honorable Koimburi of Juja had called the Speaker and indicated his absence that day. He was going to Mombasa. Honorable Koimburi has seen me this afternoon. He is available in the House now. And I'll now give him an opportunity to speak to his issue that led to, among others, Honorable Munyoro, Honorable Lelmengit, Honorable Kagiri, Honorable Mutunga, Honorable Didmas Baraza, and others writing to the Speaker, and those who have also come to the Speaker's chamber to raise verbal complaints. Honorable Koimburi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise just to apologize to my colleagues and members of this House. As you read my letter last week on Tuesday, I did not indicate why I am apologizing, but I'm here to indicate that, or to say this. I was in church and I make a mistake by saying that the members of parliament that voted yes, they were bribed with 2 million. Honorable Speaker, I'm here to say sorry to the members because I don't have any evidence that they receive money. Honorable Speaker, those was just a hearsay that I had when we was voting during the second reading of finance bill. I urge the members to forgive me, and then we move forward for the betterment of this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Koimburi. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just wanted to help Honorable Koimburi to learn how to seek forgiveness. Before you seek forgiveness, you must confess the lie first. So you must confirm first that you lied, that you are dishonest, you lied in church, you lied to the people of Kenya, and put us to great shame. Then after that, after you have confessed, then you can ask for forgiveness. But before that, you cannot just ask for forgiveness.
Yes, order. Honorable Wamumbi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity.
Order, Rosa.
Mr. Speaker, some of us lost properties because Honorable Koimburi lied that we received 2 million so that we could vote for the finance bill. Mr. Speaker, I'm asking one question. Is Honorable Koimburi ready to go back to the same church and apologize from the same church that he lied? Mr. Speaker, we must speak the truth and tell each other the truth. Is Honorable Koimburi ready to go to the same church and admit on the same pulpit that he lied and he incriminated these members of parliament, Mr. Speaker? Thank you.
Honorable Ruku.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, Honorable Koimburi is insincere, even with his apology. Is insincere, even the way the letter is worded. Mr. Speaker, we have lost faith with people of the Republic of Kenya because of the lie of Honorable Koimburi. And I think we should not even call him honorable, because he has proved he is not honorable. If he can be able to lie in front of the church that members who voted yes received 2 million on his feet in front of clergy, then I think, Honorable Speaker, we need to prescribe a very harsh punishment of Honorable Koimburi. And before we do that, we need to do exactly what Honorable Deputy Speaker has said, to prescribe his apology in clear terms so that we can decide whether we are going to forgive him or not. Mr. Speaker, otherwise, as a member who voted yes, I am not ready to forgive Honorable Koimburi for lying. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Wangari.
Thank you.
Order.
Thank you.
Order, honorable members.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, the apology is tendered to the people who voted yes in this House. And what we have suffered, Mr. Speaker, cannot even be quantified in a single letter, Mr. Speaker. Many members have been harassed for no reason. And Mr. Speaker, one thing that Honorable Koimburi, and I'm very sad because I knew the father. The father is from my constituency. He was a very honest man. I don't know who became of this Honorable Koimburi, Mr. Speaker, because he lied through the teeth, in the pulpit, and with no shame. Mr. Speaker, what we need, even as we go to forgive Honorable Koimburi, we must set a precedent in this House, Mr. Speaker, that you cannot just say things outside there, incriminating members of parliament, incriminating the whole House, Mr. Speaker, and get away with it, Mr. Speaker. We must have him pay damages, but more importantly, we must have him taken action against by the Speaker, Powers and Privileges Committee, Mr. Speaker. There must be clear so that next time any member who would like to drag the names of members under the bus to look good, Mr. Speaker, then they will think twice. And Mr. Speaker, one thing Honorable Koimburi must realize, he may have been doing this to look good. By the way, the whole House, one is rotten, all of us will be rotten, including him, Mr. Speaker. So I hope that this will be a lesson, and the precedent that will be set from your desk, Mr. Speaker, will discourage others from going the route that Honorable Koimburi has gone. It is a shame, and he should be ashamed of himself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Owen Bayer.
Honorable Speaker, you know, Honorable Speaker, I come from a priestly lineage, and the Bible is very clear that forgiveness is divine. Now, if the forgiveness is divine, upon seeking for it, we are obliged that we forgive. And Honorable Speaker, in Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, he says that sometimes punishment may not be the execution of the crime, but more importantly, it is that the person, I'm sure, Honorable Koimburi, within the time that he has lived with his guilty, he has atoned his sins. And because he has atoned his sin, and that forgiveness is divine, I personally forgive him and request this House to forgive him. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Wamboka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Indeed, it is regrettable what has been going around, but I also want to congratulate the Honorable Member for being a gentleman and apologizing. We have more important business to work on. And just to my brother like Ruku, there are more atrocities that have been committed in this House, including taking people's signatures, and we don't know where you took them. That was more serious. So, Honorable Speaker, yes, the Honorable Member made a mistake. He has owned up the mistake and apologized. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Forgive him and proceed, Honorable Speaker. We have more important business for this House. Kenyans are watching at us. Mr. Speaker, let's rest this matter Asante sana, Mheshimiwa Spika.
Boyu.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders of this House does not describe what an apology should look like in this House. The Honorable Member has actually apologized. Mr. Speaker, it doesn't matter if he got the figures wrong or if he got the facts wrong, but he's apologized. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I think the onus is on us to forgive him as a House. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me begin first by appreciating what has been said by other members about forgiveness and commend the Honorable Koimburi, because we are all men and women, and I say men in the parlance of the Bible, men and women. And we are honorable men and women. And we ought to carry, Honorable Speaker, I beg you protect me from the Honorable Betty. I say, Honorable Speaker, that we are seen and viewed to be honorable men and women. And it is perceived, or it should be, that we are among the very best in our society, because our people elected us as among the best of the people in their constituencies. And I'm sure even the people of Juja elected the Honorable Koimburi, believing he was one of the best among us, the people of Juja. And therefore, he has been very magnanimous to apologize. And the book of 1 John 1:9, the good book tells us that if we confess our sins, he, meaning God, is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness. I think, Honorable Speaker, I have listened to what members across the aisle have said, that if you seek forgiveness, you shall be forgiven. And I must commend the Honorable Koimburi for seeking forgiveness for his unrighteous ways of things he said about members that were not there. But the book also tells us, if you confess. And when I listened to Honorable Koimburi, I heard him say that he said things that he now knows are untrue, and he knew they were untrue even at the time he said. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the fact that the Bible tells us if we confess, we shall be forgiven by the Almighty God. And we are all followers of Christ and followers of the Almighty God, Allah, even for those of us who are from the Muslim Islamic faith. Honorable Speaker, if you can forgive me from these ones who are saying we are not God. Of course, I know we are not God. But we all believe in God. And I want to believe in this House, Honorable Speaker, we are men and women of great faith. Men and women who are Christians and others who are very good Muslims, who believe in the Almighty God. And therefore, being followers of Christ like myself, I have absolutely no problem as a person in forgiving the Honorable Koimburi for his iniquities. However, to protect the institution of Parliament, Honorable Speaker, to protect the dignity of this House, to protect the dignity of innocent members of Parliament who are seen as sellouts for either 2 million shillings or 2,000 shillings or whatever the amount was, Honorable Speaker, then I would beg that we handle this matter with a little bit more care, so that tomorrow I do not stand up and accuse a member of Parliament who votes this way or the other, of having received bribes, knowing what I am saying is untrue. More worrying, Honorable Speaker, and I would urge you, Honorable Speaker, to ask the Honorable Koimburi to stand in his place. Because if you seek forgiveness, please do so with clean hands. When the Honorable Koimburi wrote that letter last week, Honorable Speaker, that letter was delivered to your office in the evening. A copy was delivered to my office, and a copy, I think, to the Leader of Minority, because they were copied. And I would have wanted to hear the Honorable Koimburi confirm if indeed what he says, he was the author of this letter. This letter was delivered by a staff member in his office, whom he knows, and I don't want to name him because he's not here, but the Honorable Koimburi knows his staff member who delivered that letter. The letter was stamped in my office. Unfortunately, the person who stamped it received, put one stamp upside down on the copy that he came with, that he was to return with. And he asked that it be stamped properly, facing up, and it was stamped. That is the letter that circulated on social media last week. The Honorable George Koimburi, on his social media platform, specifically on his Facebook page, stamped the same letter fake and said it is fake news. I would therefore have been more convinced to believe in the seeking of forgiveness by Honorable Koimburi if he also came out clearly to tell the people of Kenya whether the dishonesty exhibited on his Facebook page is not the same dishonesty he now seeks to exhibit on the floor of this house, pretending to seek forgiveness that he does not mean. But if the Honorable Koimburi can confirm to me and to this house that even his actions on Facebook page that day were informed by other factors other than the truth, Honorable Speaker, and confirm he was the author of this letter, then I am more than willing myself to forgive the Honorable Koimburi. Failure to do that, Honorable Speaker, and that's why I say there must be a balance between our faith and the dignity and honor and respect of this house, Honorable Speaker. Failure to do that, then I would strongly recommend, because Honorable Koimburi cannot be in a church and allege one thing, come and draft a letter seeking forgiveness, then the same evening post on social media that the letter is fake. A week after, appear on the floor of this house now saying a different thing. Which George Koimburi do we believe? Which George Koimburi are we seeing here? Which George Koimburi is here? Is it the George Koimburi who lies in church? Is it the George Koimburi who stamps letters fake on social media? Or is it the meek-looking George Koimburi who is seated here now seeking forgiveness? If this George Koimburi seated here seeking forgiveness, Honorable Speaker, is the same Koimburi, I forgive him. If the George Koimburi of lying in church and later denying and reasserting the lie, then I will not forgive that George Koimburi. But the George Koimburi who is here, if he wants to be honorable, if he wants to dignify this house, he must come out clean, confess, one, to the lie he said in church, confess to the lie he sold on social media. If he comes out clean, I am more than willing to forgive the Honorable George Koimburi and ask the Almighty God to also forgive him for having lied in church. And the Honorable George Koimburi is my very good friend, Honorable Speaker. In fact, the Honorable George Koimburi, in his first election as a member of Parliament, he will tell you, he had serious problems when he was seeking election first as a member of Parliament. The Honorable George Koimburi was elected never having set foot in a single political rally in Juja constituency. He campaigned when he was in hiding. And he knows the only place he could come to when he was in hiding was to my house for me to facilitate him, to be able to facilitate his campaign. And these are facts of life, Honorable Speaker. And the Honorable Koimburi knows. I have invited him to my house, facilitated his campaign. And that is why, as a friend, I choose to forgive him if he confesses the dishonesty. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I will ask, before you conclude, the Honorable George Koimburi to rise in his place and clarify the matter of the letters, because that is pertinent for me and for many members to know whether indeed is genuine in the seeking of forgiveness. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order Rosa Buyu. Order Rosa Buyu. Order Rosa Buyu. You are being disorderly. Then go out without causing disorder. Wamrata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to address this issue of Koimburi. Having come from the same county with him and being his mama county, I, number one, was very embarrassed at the situation that Koimburi put us in. And I see as members continuing shouting at one another at this point. I'm trying to ask myself whether all of us got to know the magnitude of destruction that statement made to this country. And it is about all of us. Yes, and somebody is calling me Bibia Bishop, and you knowing that I'm a wife of a clergy, and having sat here to take 2 million shillings to go and sell my county, that to me meant that I am not only a rogue, but I am also not respecting my Christian faith. But all said and done, Mr. Speaker, I would want to say this. It is very hard for a Kikuyu man to say sorry. It never comes out easily from a Kikuyu man. I may not know about other communities, but I can confess that for a Kikuyu man, it is never easy to say sorry. So I'm imagining Koimburi must have tried to work out to come and say sorry. But again, he is playing us a game. Because Koimburi has apologized and apologized very clearly, and we feel good. But the same Koimburi has put the same letter in his social media and said it is a fake letter. So again, he puts us in another mess, because we will appear like we forced him to come and say it was a lie. So maybe, Mr. Speaker, you'd give us a direction on what this means to us, because I think part of what fueled what happened here on the 25th was that statement. We are trying to downplay the statement, but that would have meant the end of all of us, including our children. And as I am seeing some people there shouting, they need to understand the magnitude and the weight of that statement and what it meant to this country and where it would have taken us. So, Mr. Speaker, I would only want to make one request, that maybe Koimburi, people may not buy our story because they already believe we were given the 2 million. But then he needs to put a proper apology to the people of Kenya. They may not buy the story, but at least he would have spoken about it. But for me, as his mama county, I had said I will never forgive him in heaven and on earth. But today on this floor of the house, I am choosing to forgive him, but on condition that he again puts again on his social media that whatever he said was a lie. And yes, and go to the same church which is also in Kiambu County, where I represent, and stand there, na yeye ni member wa hiyo church, and be prayed for. Na hiyo kanisa yao believes in mafuta, aende amwagiliwe mpaka mafuta ya confession, so that we forgive him.
Yes, Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, immediately we had an issue here on 25th. That Sunday, Honorable Speaker, I tried to attend some church, a men's conference in Ruiru constituency, Honorable Speaker. And immediately I entered that church that I do not worship in. People started singing as I walked, towards my sitting position, 2 million, 2 million, 2 million. I am not an MP elected to represent the people of Ruiru constituency. And I was left wondering, Honorable Speaker, if this is what I am facing, a person elected in, a constituency that is about 500 kilometers from the place I attended church, Honorable Speaker, I couldn't help but sympathize with the situation of the member of parliament for Ruiru, Honorable Speaker. This is what these members are talking about. the members seated on the opposite side of this House, Honorable Speaker, may not be aware of what these members seated this side went through. Honorable Speaker, it is extremely difficult to simply just say, by a mere expression or attendance of this honorable member in the floor of the House and just saying, please forgive me, to them it sounds so easy that just forgive. But what, Honorable Speaker, we are asking is that the member of parliament goes an extra mile. And to some of us, Honorable Speaker, that really campaigned for him. There's some of us who went out there when he went there when he was vying in the first term. And when he did not even know us by name, Honorable Speaker, during the by-elections. And people contributed. Then even after that, Honorable Speaker, after he won in his second term, he came to my office when he had a petition. And we actually won in his petition. He was awarded the costs. He did not even forgive the petitioner that was running against him. He's actually telling me that you must attach his property. He's here telling us that we forgive him when we've lost 1 million property, Honorable Speaker, across the country. The honorable member from Nyeri, the honorable from one of the Kieni, the honorable Chieni, Honorable Speaker, lost 3 supermarkets. 3 supermarkets. I mean, worth 5 billion shillings, Honorable Speaker. And any time he was actually walking around, 5 million, I'm sorry, 500 million. 5 billion plus the house, Honorable Speaker. And people were singing to his house saying, you have 2 million. In the minds of the people in the villages, Honorable Speaker, they think 2 million is a huge amount that can build supermarkets, that can stock the entire supermarket. And Honorable Koimburi did not even stop at that, Honorable Speaker. He went ahead in another function in the company of another top government official of this country and repeated the same words, Honorable Speaker, in another function, Honorable Speaker. So we do not know what apology was he seeking for. Was it for the first mistake of saying a lie, or the second mistake of repeating the lie, and the third mistake of writing on social media and in his own letter that he served in your office and the majority leader, and still posted it on social media and said fake? So which apology should we take? Is it the first, second, or third apology, Honorable Speaker? And as I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I believe this House has got rules and regulations and the procedures to follow. My opinion, Honorable Speaker, could be that the Honorable Koimburi be subjected to the Powers and Privileges Committee so that he can explain himself if he can't do it in the entire floor of the House. And he can have, his issues heard, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable members, I want to bring this to an end. Honorable Koimburi, did you label the letter that you sent to my office and I read to this House as fake? Before I give direction. Order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The letter that Majority Leader is talking about, the account that was posted, that letter, it's not my account. That was a fake account. In my Facebook, you can check. There is 2 accounts. Honorable George Koimburi account and Honorable George Koimburi Juja 1. The Juja 1 is a fake account. My account is George Koimburi. You can check even in your phone. You can open it. The letter was posted in a fake account. I stand to say, I stand, Honorable Speaker, I stand to ask my honorable members of this House to forgive me. Forgive me. I will never repeat it again, honorable members. Just forgive me, because I had hearsay. Prevent me, Honorable Speaker,
honorable
please.
Members. Order. Thank you, Koimburi. Take your seat. Order. Order. Honorable Koimburi, finish.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As I said before, Honorable Speaker, there was a hearsay that honorable members who voted yes in a second reading were bribed with the 2 million. Honorable Speaker, I'm here to apologize to our honorable members. Thank you.
Order, honorable members. Order. Wamaua, take your cool. Honorable members, I know. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, order. Ngeno Ngong, take your seat. Take your seats. Order, honorable member, take your seat. Honorable members, the Honorable George Koimburi has come to this house and talked to you as colleagues. He came to the Speaker's chamber, and I called the clerk to join me, and he said many of the things he has said here. He said he went to church. He was overwhelmed by the presence of a hostile crowd, and he said what he said. Order, honorable members, order, members. The Holy Book, the Bible says, the beginning of healing lies in the acknowledgement of wrongdoing, which he has acknowledged. It also says, the greatest word in human relationship is the small word, sorry, which he has said. Father, Honorable Betty, if you read your scriptures in Romans 12, verse 21, it says, don't let evil get the best of you, but conquer evil by doing good. I'm a man of great faith, and I believe that wherever you are wronged, and whoever wrongs you realizes that they are wrong and says sorry, it's up to you to forgive. And I want to urge you, Honorable Koimburi, and any of you who will veer off the beaten track and get overrode either by the presence of a crowd, hostile or otherwise, you are all collective agents of the image of this house, of the image of all of you. When one of you is besmirched, all of us are besmirched. When one of us is maligned, all of us are maligned. And when one of us says something that is blatantly incorrect and false, it hurts the whole house. That the Honorable Koimburi has had the courage and the humility to say that he went to church, stood before the church, said something that he knew was not true, and he has come to you to say, my brothers and sisters, let it be in your hearts to forgive me. I urge you to forgive him. And like I've always said, in an event like this, let the chips lie where they fell, and we look to the future. Honorable Koimburi, you are collectively forgiven. And in future, weigh your words carefully. Know what to say, where to say, and to whom to say. Next order.
Order number 8, motion. Reduction of publication period of a specified bill.
Majority Leader. Oh, Chair of Budget, sorry. Chair of Budget.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120(1)(c), that this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplementary Appropriations Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024 from 7 days to 5 days. Honorable Speaker, we are basically doing this because, as members understand, the government is almost in a near standoff, Honorable Speaker, or shutdown, and therefore, Honorable Speaker, we need to hasten the process of supplementary appropriations, Honorable Speaker, so that we can proceed into giving the National Treasury whatever they need, Honorable Speaker, so that the government can continue spending money in the various MDAs, including here in Parliament, the other arms of the executive, the county governments, Honorable Speaker, and also including CDF. And Honorable Speaker, what you are doing is just to hasten the process so that we can be able to draw monies from the consolidated fund for the furtherance of provision of service to the Kenyan people and also for development expenditure. Honorable Speaker, I wish to request the chair for JLAC, the Honorable Murugara, and the former managing partner of a very serious law firm, Dentons, to second these motions.
Yes, Murugara.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this motion, a very important motion, as moved by the chairperson of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, the appropriations we are just about to make are crucial to the national government and to the county governments. It's vitally important that funds are provided so that the two governments can actually run and do their affairs. The same extends to this House when it comes to the second arm of government, the legislature, and also to the third government of the country, which is the judiciary. All these arms of government are waiting for funds, and therefore it is incumbent on this House to ensure that the appropriations are made and the country is able to move. I do beg to second.
Order, honorable members on their feet, take your seats. Order. Member for Pokot, take your seat. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 121C, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplemental Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024, from 7 days to 5 days. I put the question. I now put the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 121C, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplemental Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024, from 7 days to 5 days. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Those of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Supplementary Appropriation Number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill Number 39 of 2024. First reading. A bill for an act of Parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and their application towards the service of the year ending on the 30th June 2025, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes.
Order. Order. Order, honorable members, order. Yeah? Yes. Order. Order, Ruku. Order. Take your seats. Order. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Take your seats. Order. Order. Robert, take your seats. Take your seats. Order, honorable members. Order. Omulher. Omulher. Take your seat. Order, take your seats. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, Rosa. Take your seats. Order. Order, honorable members. Order. 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 Order, members. Member for Malindi, take your seats. Order, members, take your seats. Honorable Ruku. Order, members. Order. Order, members, take your seats. Honorable Jalango. Order. 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 Take your seat. Take your seat. Honorable members, take your seats. Jalango, take your seat. Honorable Mwenje, you are the whips. You should be helping the House to be orderly. Order, Naisula, order. 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 Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Order, honorable members. I don't know if what I've been told is true, that the honorable ladies were going to embrace Honorable Koimburi. If it is true, it was honorable. But if anybody, order, honorable members, but I can also read the body language of members. The menacing manner in which I saw the honorable member for Garissa, is it for Mandera, Honorable Mulher, and my own commissioner, Faith Gitau. We have always operated under false impression that the custodians of peace are our women. And now that becomes totally fallacious. And now that that drama is over, you have provided enough comic relief in the House. Now let's get back to business. Honorable Koimburi, you are absolutely safe and protected. You can go back to your seat if you are not comfortable where you are sitting. But the rules of the House say order. 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 Rosa Buyu. It is amazing how you are wailing louder than the bereaved. It's totally amazing how you are wailing louder than the bereaved. But let's go to the next order.
Order number 10, the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, second reading.
Ndindi Nyoro.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 39 of 2024, be now read a second time. Honorable Speaker, though the consultations are quite high.
Order, honorable members. Members, you are now discussing very serious business. Appropriations Bill, Supplementary Appropriations Bill, determining how you want the resources of this country to be spent. I expect you to listen carefully and contribute diligently to this bill. Go on, Dindi.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank this House because we have been through this process in the consideration of the report as was made by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and of course with the heavy consultations with all the members of this House through their departmental committees. And Honorable Speaker, after what we did last week, then the process now has shifted into concretizing what we have been doing last week in the form of the Appropriations Bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, and I hope we are together with members. Honorable Speaker, as you said, this is a very important matter that we are discussing, and I request that we have our consultations in low tones. Honorable Speaker, the process that we are having today, as I said earlier, is the culmination of the budget making process, and as far as approval of the appropriations is concerned. And Honorable Speaker, members will also be having a chance, because in the second reading, to actually make their comments and opinions and take part in this debate. But Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I want to thank all the members of this House, because all of us have taken part in the preparation of these supplementary estimates, Honorable Speaker, through our departmental committees, and also singularly as members of Parliament, because we really take note of all the opinions from our colleagues in this House, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, also I want to thank you and thank the Clerk of the National Assembly for availing to us a very good working environment, Honorable Speaker, and especially the precincts of Parliament, where we discussed the entire process, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I had said when we were doing or debating the report, I also want to thank the members of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and also our back office, Honorable Speaker, which is the Parliamentary Budget Office, Honorable Speaker, and especially we have been working very closely with officers like Abel, Julie, and Dan, Honorable Speaker, in the preparation of this appropriations bill. Honorable Speaker, why are we having this debate today? The reason why we are having this debate today, Honorable Speaker, number one, it is unprecedented. we have never had a supplementary budget being prepared before the main one is actually implemented. Honorable Speaker, therefore, this is the first time in the budget-making process in Kenya where we are having the supplementary estimates, Honorable Speaker, be considered barely a month after the passage of the main budget. And Honorable Speaker, this is premised on the fact that, Honorable Speaker, we were preparing a budget. The budget had two sides. There was the revenue side, but also the expenditure side. I am lucky to be handling the expenditure side. The revenue side, as we know, is handled by the Finance Committee, led by my brother, Honorable Kimani Kuria. Honorable Speaker, we passed our side as the Budget Committee, which is the expenditure, in anticipation that we were to have the entire revenue-raising measures, Honorable Speaker, realized. Unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, or fortunately so, the Kenyan people requested that we look at other means, Honorable Speaker, insofar as the management of public finances is concerned. And out of that, Honorable Speaker, then, we had a hole in the budget. All the revenue-raising measures, as were anticipated by the Finance Bureau, Honorable Speaker, therefore was left as a void. And Honorable Speaker, we have done two things to fill up that void. There are only two areas that we could explore, Honorable Speaker. One, it is in terms of expanding our deficit by borrowing slightly more. And in that regard, Honorable Speaker, in this appropriations bill, we are requesting that we borrow an extra 170 billion Kenya shillings over and above what we had budgeted in the main budget, Honorable Speaker. Consequently, our deficit, therefore, for this financial year is in excess of 750 billion. But, Honorable Speaker, to allay those fears, whereas our deficit has moved from 3.83% of deficit to GDP ratio, the current one we are considering, Honorable Speaker, of 4.3% deficit to GDP ratio, is still within our range as a country, Honorable Speaker, only that then, there before, we wanted to move out of the hole much faster because of our borrowing, and enlarging the deficit is not a very prudent manner of managing our economy. The other area, Honorable Speaker, we had to explore is the expenditure side. And consequently, therefore, over and above borrowing an extra 170 billion Kenya shillings, we have also cut expenditure to a tune of over 145 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, of what we had anticipated, Honorable Speaker, to spend. But, Honorable Speaker, it is important as this House to know that some of the things we have been doing in this House have actually been bearing fruits. So that even as we consider the proposal before us, we must know that it is not haphazard. It is usually very considered, and the more the reason we have been seeing the output in our economy. And I say so because, Honorable Speaker, last year we were in the same process. What were the results? Our economy in 2023 grew by 5.6%. Honorable Speaker, our inflation has now been tamed completely to the recent figures of 4.6%. Honorable Speaker, also, our currency seems to respond to the policies that we have been making in this House, and especially insofar as budget is concerned. And that is why our currency against the greenback has been gaining now close to 20% this year alone, Honorable Speaker, and much more in comparison to the regional currencies. Honorable Speaker, what are the other areas of consideration when we were making this supplementary budget, Honorable Speaker? One, we know that it is just out of semantics that we are calling it supplementary one. But in practice, Honorable Speaker, what we are passing today is actually the main budget. And I say so because the main one was not implemented. What will get implemented is actually what is contained in here. And I see members are already reading it. Members are already consulting on the contents in this bill, Honorable Speaker. What is the content here, Honorable Speaker? The budget we are considering is a budget of roughly 3.84 or thereabout trillion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker. 3.8 trillion just to roughly approximate. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the revenue side, we have been able to downgrade our projections. And other than the 2.9 billion shillings we anticipated, Honorable Speaker, in the main budget, we will now be raising just above 2.6 trillion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, the A&A in this budget is just around 440 billion Kenya shillings. But also, Honorable Speaker, as I said before, the deficit is over 700 billion Kenya shillings. But what is on the expenditure side? On the expenditure side, Honorable Speaker, I just want to highlight a few elements. One, on the national government side, we have been able to take a hit, Honorable Speaker, of around 121 billion Kenya shillings. This is the downgrade, Honorable Speaker, in expenditure in regards to the executive, parliament, and judiciary. And Honorable Speaker, to lead that way, here in Parliament, Honorable Speaker, we voluntarily, Honorable Speaker, accepted a cut of Kenya shillings 3.7 billion, Honorable Speaker. And members of this House have told Kenyans very clearly that they are willing to travel less. They are willing to travel less domestically and also in terms of foreign. And Honorable Speaker, therefore, we have been able to rationalize those budgets in the National Assembly and in Parliament at large. Honorable Speaker, we have also been able to cut some ritual resources from the judiciary so that they also carry an equivalent burden. And I hope members are listening, Honorable Speaker, because when it comes to travel, let me repeat, the budget for travel, both foreign and domestic, has been cut across the board. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the members of this House because they have said it very categorically that they don't want to travel as much as we have been traveling because they are very cognizant of the problems that we are dealing with as an economy. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, we cut Kenya shillings 3.7 billion from Parliament. Judiciary has lost, executive has lost. But also, Honorable Speaker, the cuts have been horizontal and vertical. We have cut in all levels of government. Whereas the national government is losing 121 billion, even our counties, Honorable Speaker, are losing 20 billion, Honorable Speaker, in equitable share. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, these are tough times, and I want to congratulate all leaders for allowing that we have a lesser budget in terms of size and everyone to take a haircut. Honorable Speaker, what are the other areas that have suffered? As we are aware, Honorable Speaker, when I was moving the main budget, there was an increment in CDF of 10 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank this House because members have accepted that yes, we can postpone that dream, and therefore we live with the budget that we had the last financial year. Honorable Speaker, there was 14.5 billion Kenya shillings for rural electrification. I also want to thank the members of this House because they have already agreed that we postpone the electrification project, Honorable Speaker, where every constituency was to get 50 million Kenya shillings every constituency. Honorable Speaker, beyond that, road sector, of course, has been decimated. Road sector has lost some quite colossal amounts of money, Honorable Speaker, and many other sectors. But I also want to assure this House, ostentatious spending, Honorable Speaker, spending that is not core to service delivery, we have also cut across the board, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me not dwell too much on the cuts. Let me first go to the policy issues. There is something peculiar that we noted when we have been considering this supplementary budget. Honorable Speaker, one is that as we consider the supplementary estimates, barely a month after the passage of the main budget, we have seen a high appetite of MDAs requesting that we enhance their A&A. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the conclusion that we have come to as the Budget Committee is that MDAs have been underestimating grossly their appropriations in aid. And Honorable Speaker, we have in our report recommended several things. We have seen very clearly that our country is very rich. And in that regard, two things have come up. One, Kenya as a government is overrepresented when it comes to organizations owned by government. Honorable Speaker, Kenya has got over 334 parastatos and sagas. Honorable Speaker, we have started the route of rationalizing this area, Honorable Speaker, and in this supplementary budget, Honorable Speaker, we have denied 47 of them money for operations and maintenance, Honorable Speaker, because they are either duplicating service, Honorable Speaker, or they have been overtaken by events. Honorable Speaker, as a country, this is a route you have to travel. We cannot continue having many bodies of government overlapping their services to the Kenyan people, Honorable Speaker, while we are still spending a lot of money in their recurrent expenditure. Honorable Speaker, 47 sagas, 47 government organizations have been owed up through this process, Honorable Speaker, by first denying them the budget as we, Honorable Speaker, decide what to do as a country with them. The second thing, Honorable Speaker, zooming in, and I want to request this discussion that we follow together as members. In a constituency like Suna West, in a constituency like North Hor, in a constituency like Baringo, Honorable Speaker, Baringo North, we have, for example, an engineer who represents the Kera routes on the ground. In the same constituency or region, we have a Kenha office and engineers already on the ground. In the same jurisdiction, we have Kura officers, Honorable Speaker, in the same ground. We have to ask ourselves very honest questions, Honorable Speaker. Do we need a Kera engineer, on top of that, a Kenha engineer, on top of that, a Kura engineer in Ronyejes, for example, Honorable Speaker? Can these roles be done by a singular office in the regions? Honorable Speaker, that will move us toward rationalizing the recurrent expenditure so that we can free up resources to go into development. In water sector, Honorable Speaker, we have over 20 bodies in the water sector alone. Waterworks, over 10. There are other national bodies, Honorable Speaker. We have to look inwards, Honorable Speaker, and be very categorical. Do we need, as a country, to have 20 bodies dealing with water, for example, whereas each of them is having like 500 million Kenya shillings in recurrent, Honorable Speaker, doing the same job? Honorable Speaker, this is a question that in the midterm we have to ask and critically evaluate whether